'Cause when it get like this, I need distance. I'm on a 12-hour flight with just my...
To the US now, where the rapper Tory Lanez has been sentenced to 10 years in prison.
And doing things without even knowing a truth to anything. Without even a lick of evidence, without anything.
Tory Lanez is a name that is never far from controversial headlines, but if recent revelations are anything to go by, it seems like the music industry may actually be trying to target him and bury him. In a recent prison interview, rapper Tory Lanez opened up about some shady practices in the music industry and voiced his support for fellow artist Drake, who's been caught in the middle of some controversies. For those who don't know, Lanez is currently serving time for shooting Megan Thee Stallion in the foot back in 2020. During the interview, he talked about the tough situations artists face when dealing with industry politics and beef. He mentioned, "There's a lot of dark things going on behind the scenes." In a phone interview on the Full Send podcast, Lanez shared more about the challenges of staying independent in the music world. He made it clear he wasn't willing to compromise his values. He said, "I'm not selling my soul. I'm not doing none of that weird stuff, the rituals, and all that stuff that y'all nenties got going on." Lanez's words show how serious he is about staying true to himself, even when there's pressure to follow what everyone else is doing. He hinted that many artists struggle with feeling forced into difficult choices that could take away their control over their own music and careers. Drake, meanwhile, has been dealing with his own public fights, especially with Kendrick Lamar. Things really heated up after Lamar dropped the diss track Not Like Us, where he called out Drake. The song blew up, and Drake wasn't happy about it. He even sued Universal Music Group, UMG, and iHeartMedia, accusing them of using unfair tactics like payola and messing with data to make Lamar's song seem more popular than it actually was.
I feel like it's damn near at a place where it's gonna be critically acclaimed because no one ever did it before. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, for me...
Despite their rocky history, Lane stood by Drake and praised him for standing up to the powerful forces in the industry. He said, "I'm proud of the position of any artist that stands up against the bull's views that goes down behind the scenes." And it's not surprising Tory feels this way, especially considering he's had his own fair share of controversy. In August 2023, Tory Lanez was sentenced to 10 years in California State Prison for shooting Megan Thee Stallion in 2020. He had already been convicted in December 2022 of assault with a semi-automatic firearm, carrying a loaded unregistered gun in his vehicle and firing it with gross negligence. A recorded phone call shows Tory apologizing to Megan's former friend Kelsey for something unclear, though many believe it was related to Megan's shooting. During the trial, Kelsey dismissed the idea that she shot Megan, calling it ridiculous. A witness testified that he saw a shorter man, likely Tory, firing 4 to 5 shots and beating Megan while she lay bleeding on the ground. Despite all the evidence against him, several celebrities like Drake, Chris Brown, and Meek Mill showed support for Tory. But what message does that send? Do they not believe Megan, or do they just not care? Since the incident, people have treated the shooting like a dramatic story rather than a real trauma that deserves accountability. On her song Cobra, Megan rapped about the pain she's dealt with since the shooting, including depression, alcohol struggles, and even thoughts of suicide. Still, her story was picked apart by online sleuths, and she was mocked by entertainers and the public. Tory added to the ridicule, chopping up a horse leg in his Cap video, an obvious reference to Megan's name. Drake's behavior toward women has been questionable too. Recently, during his Big As the What tour, he played Work with Rihanna, but then told the crowd he doesn't perform it anymore. That came after he dissed her and A$AP Rocky on his song Fear of Heights. He also shouted out his friend, rapper Baka Not Nice, who pleaded guilty in 2015 to assaulting a 22-year-old woman. Drake even rapped, "I might declare it a holiday as soon as Baka gets back on the road," after Baka's release from prison.
And all that, and they were actually like a really big crew. Like, they went and traveled around. Like, in those times, that was kind of like unheard of. So
they were on. It makes you wonder if Drake truly cares about the women affected by his friend's actions. Drake and Megan were once seen together in 2019, but things seem to have gone downhill. In 2022, Drake rapped, "This bitch lie about getting shots, but she's still a stallion," on his song Circo Loco, a diss many believe was aimed at Megan. He later clarified that he wasn't talking about her, but people were skeptical. And now, after Megan may have dissed him on her track Hiss, Drake has shown support for her attacker, Tory. Drake wasn't the only one. Chris Brown, who has a history of violence against women, including his 2009 assault on Rihanna, called to free Tory during a live stream with Aiden Ross, calling Tory a solid dude. No surprise there. Meek Mill also shouted "Free Tory" during his Rolling Loud Portugal performance and doubled down on Twitter saying, "I say free Young Thug, free Lucci, free Melly." He was defending his friends, but the message was clear. Some people argue that the justice system is flawed, especially toward black men, and that it should be abolished. While there may be truth to that, Tory's behavior during the trial didn't make him any more sympathetic. Some believe in restorative justice, where the person who committed the crime takes responsibility, apologizes, and both sides heal without prison. But Tory's arrogance and refusal to take accountability made that hard to imagine. Even after Tory's conviction, rumors and conspiracy theories still fly around, with some people convinced there are hidden videos or secret witnesses that could clear his name. Sadly, a lot of major names in the music industry continue to support this toxic narrative, fueling distrust in women and survivors. And recently, Tory revealed that Chris Brown was the only celebrity friend who helped him financially while he was incarcerated. On March 7th, he dropped his album Peterson from prison, where he gave Brown a shout out on 2 tracks. In the song TDF by LA County Jail featuring DSTNY, Tory rapped, "Where were you when I was in California fed up with no covers to bundle up? The only real Naya that helped me was Chris Brown. That really was my brother, bruh." As the song went viral, people reacted. Some supported Brown's empathy for Tory, but many criticized both artists for their past actions, with one person commenting, "Birds of a feather." Tory recorded the entire Peterson album from prison and expressed his gratitude to Brown for covering his lawyer fees. In the album's final track, "Free Tory," he rapped about Brown stepping up when none of his other friends did, saying,
When I was able to even get on that.
"Nias is treating me like I was dead, and this Nia Chris Brown, I'll never forget it. This Chris Brown came out of nowhere. He just gave me the money." Tory described Brown as a real friend, saying, he said, "Look bro, when you get outside, holla at me. I hope you come home. That a real Naya, bro." In his track Verdict Day Ex-Lawyer Fees interlude, Tory also claimed that his former attorney, Sean Hawley, was secretly working with the other side. He even suggested that her connection to Rock Nation, Megan's label, was the reason he couldn't trust her. Now it seems things are becoming even more interesting after recent developments. According to legal documents shared by the Associated Press, Megan Thee Stallion claims that Tory Lanez is behind efforts to damage her reputation, even from prison. She says bloggers allegedly working for Lanez are spreading false stories to hurt her credibility. These actions have caused Megan a lot of emotional pain, so she's now seeking more legal protection. Megan has filed for a restraining order against Tory Lanez, pointing out that blogger Milagro Grams, real name Milagro Elizabeth Cooper, is one of the people supposedly working for him. Megan's legal team presented evidence that shows Lanez's father, Sunstar Peterson, has been sending money to Grams, which seems to be part of a plan to make Megan look bad. They also pointed to prison call logs that reportedly show Lanez talking to Grams, backing up their claim of a coordinated attack. This isn't the first time Megan and Lanez have clashed legally. Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, had already broken a protective order before. In August 2021, a judge found him guilty of violating a restraining order by showing up at a music festival where Megan was also performing. This led to an increase in his bail and added more fuel to their ongoing legal fights, keeping tensions high between the two artists. You really don't know how this one is going to end, especially with Tory feeling increasingly cornered by the industry. Who do you think is in the right though? Is Tory being targeted, or did he actually do all this stuff? Let us know in the comments.